The story of God attempting to kill Moses on his way back to Egypt is one of the most puzzling and shocking passages in the Bible. Found in Exodus 4 verse 24 to 26, it is a brief yet perplexing incident that raises many questions. Today, we will explore this mysterious story, trying to understand why God sought to kill Moses and how his wife Zipporah's quick actions saved his life. We will also delve into the question of how Zipporah, a Midianite woman, knew about and performed the Jewish rite of circumcision. In Exodus 4, after God has commissioned Moses at the burning bush to return to Egypt and lead the Israelites out of slavery, a strange incident occurs. On the way, at a lodging place, God meets Moses and tries to kill him. Zipporah, Moses' wife, takes a flint knife, cuts off their son's foreskin, touches Moses' feet with it, and declares, "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me." With this action, God relents and spares Moses' life. It's important to note the context of this passage. God had just given Moses a vital mission to confront Pharaoh and lead the Israelites to freedom. Moses had expressed doubts and reservations about his ability to carry out this task, but God had reassured him and given him signs to perform. This makes God's sudden attempt to kill Moses all the more puzzling. Why would God, who had just commissioned Moses for a vital role, then try to kill him? One common interpretation is that this was punishment for Moses failing to circumcise his son. Circumcision was the sign of God's covenant with Abraham and his descendants, Genesis 17. And as a Hebrew, Moses was obligated to circumcise his sons. By neglecting this duty, he was in violation of the covenant. The incident could also be understood as emphasizing the strict purity and holiness God requires of his chosen leaders. As the one who would lead God's people and represent them before Pharaoh, Moses was held to a high standard. Any deviation from God's law, even in his personal life, was a serious matter. Some scholars propose that this story may have originated as a separate folk tale, later incorporated into the Exodus narrative, explaining its abruptness and ambiguity. The idea of a bridegroom of blood seems to have ancient roots, possibly related to circumcision as a premarital rite. Equally intriguing is how Zipporah, a Midianite woman, knew to perform circumcision, a distinctly Jewish rite. Circumcision was uncommon among ancient Near Eastern peoples, so her familiarity with it is noteworthy. One possibility is that the Midianites, as descendants of Abraham through his wife Keturah, Genesis 25 verse 1 to 2, may have also practiced circumcision. Although the Bible doesn't explicitly state this, it's plausible that some Abrahamic traditions were maintained among the Midianites. Another explanation is that Zipporah learned about circumcision from Moses himself during their time in Midian. Moses had fled to Midian after killing an Egyptian, Exodus 2, and he lived there for many years. Marrying Zipporah and working for her father Jethro, it's likely that during this time, Moses shared his Hebrew heritage and traditions with his new family. As the daughter of Jethro, a priest of Midian, Exodus 2 verse 16, Zipporah might have been exposed to various religious practices and rituals. Her father's role as a priest suggests a family engaged with spiritual matters, possibly open to learning from other faith traditions. Given the miraculous nature of the incident, divine intervention or inspiration cannot be ruled out. God may have guided Zipporah's actions directly, giving her the knowledge and courage to perform the circumcision and save her husband's life. Zipporah's decisiveness in acting to save Moses is also commendable, showing her wisdom, courage, and spiritual discernment. She recognized the urgency of the situation and took bold action, even performing a rite that was foreign to her own culture. This mysterious incident highlights several key theological themes. First, it underscores the seriousness of covenantal obligations before God. Circumcision was not optional for the Hebrews, but a necessary sign of their identity and relationship with God. Moses' failure to circumcise his son was a grave oversight that nearly cost him his life. Second, It shows that even chosen leaders like Moses are not exempt from God's discipline and high standards. Being called by God does not grant one immunity from judgment, but rather increases one's responsibility to obey. Third, the story illustrates how faith is often a family matter, with spouses playing key spiritual roles. Zipporah's actions saved not only her husband, but also the entire mission of the Exodus. Her faith and quick thinking were instrumental in God's plan. Finally, the incident reveals the complex interplay of God's grace and human action. While God was the one who ultimately spared Moses, he did so through Zipporah's obedient action. It's a reminder that God often works through human agents to accomplish his will. The story of God attempting to kill Moses and Zipporah's life-saving action is a mysterious yet meaningful account. It showcases the gravity of keeping covenant with God, the inscrutable ways of the divine, and the importance of faithful obedience. It also highlights the theological significance of circumcision and the way God can use people unexpectedly to fulfill his purposes. Though brief and perplexing, this passage invites us to deeper reflection on themes of covenant, grace, faith, and the profound mystery of our God. It challenges us to take our spiritual obligations seriously, to be ready to act in faith when called upon, and to trust in God's ultimate purposes, even when we don't fully understand them. Zipporah's example of courageous faith and decisive action continues to inspire and instruct believers today.